Hi everyone, and welcome back to another 5-Minute Friday where I try to answer 5 questions in 5 minutes. And so we've been getting more and more questions, and I'm actually starting to batch them into topics, just to kind of have a smoother flow so that we're not talking about vacation spots and writing books and all that stuff. And so today's theme is professional development. So I bundled 5 questions that I got around professional development, and we will go. So we're gonna start the timer right down here, and off we go. And if you're wondering what I'm looking down at, I wrote down the questions, so I have them. How much time do you work on yourself every week? I would say probably 2 to 3 hours a day. I normally go for an average of 10-kilometer walk and or go to the gym every day. During that time, I normally listen to podcasts or books on tape. I read the newspaper. All of that kind of feels like professional development to me. I read the Globe and Mail, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times, and to educate myself on areas that I'm kind of a little more weak in regards to content. So probably, let's say, 15 hours a week-ish. Question number 2, 5 favorite books. Easy. The E-Myth, Michael Gerber, 1 Minute Millionaire, Mark Victor Hansen, The Alchemist, which I've read probably 50 times. 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss is very good. You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins is one of my recent favorites, and one that I'm actually sharing now with my 12-year-old. And bonus, Atomic Habits, which I have read 3 times in the last year. Arguably one of the top 5 books for me of all time. I think it's filled with nuggets and an unbelievable investment. I will put links to all the books below should you be interested, but there's a ton. I like The Prince by Machiavelli. I like The Little Prince. The Little Prince is the most underestimated business book of all times. It's like The Alchemist. You can learn a ton about how to engage in business from books that you would consider a fable. Question number 3, what other types of media do you consume? Mostly YouTube. I've taught myself to do a lot of things on YouTube. Podcasts, I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, but I don't listen to the comedians. I only listen to when he has business people and or smart people in different areas, but the comedian stuff I don't like as much. I also like Joey Diaz, which he's a comedian. He has his own podcast, but he's got some pretty insightful things on how to deal with people and read with people. If you haven't listened to him before, he's now quit his podcast, but I think they're still up on Apple. How do you deal with fear? Great question. Normally I put my head down and headbutt fear. The only, exception to that is I have a fear of flying. I've probably flown more than almost anyone I've met. So Ativan is my friend. The smaller the plane, the more I need an Ativan. Bigger the plane, I'm normally a little bit better. But with fear, I normally get pissed off that I'm scared of something, so I go head in and bull rush it. And number 5, how often do you question yourself? I question myself probably 20 times a day. I believe that there's 2 people in your head, and I'm not talking multiple personalities, but there is the visionary and the critic. The visionary tells you everything that is possible. The critic tells you why and all the different reasons that you're a fuck up. I think on some days the visionary has the mic, on other days the critic has the mic, and I find myself in a position of being the lion tamer of the critic and the cheerleader of the visionary. If you're wondering which is which, the visionary was the part in your head when you were a kid that told you that it was possible to be an astronaut and a doctor and a downhill skier and a football player. The critic is the person who tells you that you're fucking up your life, you're making bad business decisions, you're a terrible parent, you're a bad spouse, you're a bad friend, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too old. That's the critic, and the critic is a piece of shit, and you need to starve the critic and you need to feed the visionary. So I probably question myself about 20 times a day. On good days, that questioning lasts a few seconds. On bad days, I will sit with it for minutes and or hours until I get my shit together. Anyway, that is some insight into my professional development. What do you do? In the comments below, I'd be curious what professional development you've taken on in 2020, especially given the situation. I hope that you're coming out of this stronger, smarter, hopefully in better health, and doing things that are going to kind of let you play the rebound coming into 2021. As always, if you have any questions, you can email chris@goco.com. Put them in the comments below. The books I mentioned will go in the comment section below as well. And remember, gladiators eat first, so get after it. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.